Good afternoon, everyone. This is Cathy Rodriguez Aguirre, President and CEO for the Sacramento Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. And if you happened to join us a few seconds ago, we were having a little bit of technical difficulty, so we're going to try this again. And I am here with Juntos with Cathy. It's our weekly show that we bring interesting people, community leaders, community contributors, and just talk a little bit about what they're doing to make Sacramento a better place. We are still in the middle of Hispanic Heritage Month, and I was really excited that we were able to book this particular guest because she is someone that's beloved and popular in the entertainment field here and very sought after. So I was glad that she was able to make some time to join us. And that would be someone who actually just goes by one name, right? Just like Madonna and Bono and Juanes, a lot of people that, need no other, name because by their first name. And that would be Dinorah. I'm very excited to bring her on screen so we can hear a little bit about her story and what she's doing, and just to get to hear a little bit more about her. Dinorah, thank you so much for being here with us. I appreciate it.
Hi, Cathy. It's my pleasure to be here today with you. Thank you.
Good. So, gracias, for your patience as we got some little technical difficulties going on, but we're happy to have you here.
Thank you.
And so we're just going to start. We're going to start from the beginning here. And I have in front of me your bio. And there's so many incredible people that you've been able to meet and perform with and entertain with. And I think that a lot of people don't realize, what an extensive career you've had that's continued. We're so fortunate here in Sacramento, but it really started for you as a very young girl, right? In Mexico is where you found this love, and it started your trajectory that we're at. But so in your home, was this something that was always around you, music? How did it come to be that you were able to make this your life?
Well, let me tell you, Cathy, I will always and forever be grateful that my parents love music. Honestly, that was the best gift that they could give us ever, because there was music playing in my house all the time. And fortunately, both my parents sang, so they sang, harmonizing their voices around the house, and that was beautiful. That was a pleasure to hear my parents singing. So yeah, my love for music started really, really early in my life. By the age of 3 or 4, we were already singing in the choir in church. Later, my mother found that one of our neighbors were teaching guitar to children. So being the youngest of 4 kids, well, the youngest of the girls, my mom comes and say, who wants to learn how to play guitar? And my sisters both, they say, me. And I said, no, I don't think so. But I was not allowed to stay behind. My sisters always pulled me wherever they went, and I'm so grateful for that too, because it's what I got to learn guitar, and I totally fell in love with it. It was the moment that changed my life forever, is when I had that guitar in my hands, and I said, this is for me. And later, having, events in the school, and they know that I sing, well, they always invited me. So I started feeling that, being the star, being an artist very early in school, in my life. And pretty soon at age of 14, I joined my first band in Mexico City. They started paying me. So I became a professional in music at 14. So that was
Wow.
awesome.
So
Yes.
I just have to ask that you said, that at the very beginning that your household was full of music, your parents sang, it sounds like your siblings were all involved. I'm just curious, so did that mean like at family dinners, people would just break into song and you would have
Mhm.
kind of
Yes,
like a beauty
exactly.
moment? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. We were always around music, and that was a beautiful thing, to be
That is
honest.
so
Hmm.
wonderful. So then you have all that, and then at 14, you said you joined your,
Hmm.
your first band. So
Hmm.
what was that band, and were you playing guitar immediately in it? Were you singing? What was your role in that?
Well, let me tell you, this is very weird. In Mexico back then, if you were a singer,
Mhm.
you were not supposed to play an instrument. You just
Oh,
focus on
really?
your singing. Yeah. So they didn't hire me as a guitarist. They hired me as a singer, and they said you get there because Mexico has so many musicians. I mean, there's so much talent over there that if I was a singer, there was already a band offering to play for me. So it was not difficult at all. I was invited to be a singer for one of those bands that they
Uh-huh.
had already 2 guitars and piano and drums and congas and bass. I mean, they were complete. They didn't need another
Yeah.
instrument. They just needed my voice. And that's exactly what I did. I joined bands that play salsa and cumbia and rock and roll and rock and pop and boleros. So I got immersed in that kind of music early in my life, and I loved everything. I totally loved everything, you know. What I got to know here in this country, in the United States, it was jazz, it was blues. Mexico plays blues, but it's like a Mexican blues, right?
Mhm.
And of course, I grew up listening music like Frank Sinatra songs, Elvis Presley, the Beatles. The Beatles are huge in Mexico. Um, Barbara Streisand, Patti LaBelle, Aretha Franklin. My mother listened to music, but she also listens Mexican music. That was her heart, right?
Mhm.
Rocío, pues las dos Rocíos, you know, Durcal, Juan Gabriel, mariachis. So I think that gave me a huge perspective of what music is, you know, knowing all these varieties of music. And I grew up loving everything.
So really, so on top of it's in your household, you're doing it in school.
Mhm.
I'm assuming the guitar lessons were continuing. You join your first band. So would you consider yourself that you are more self-taught? Did you have voice lessons too? Or, I'm always interested in like that part of it because, you have a
Yeah,
beautiful voice there, but I
thank
know
you.
it's your instrument too. So,
Mhm.
how did you develop that part? Because the guitar, you're going to lessons and you're doing the part, but your voice itself, how did that develop? And did it change during the trajectory of your
Yeah,
career too? We hear it a lot
yeah,
for men, right? Because they go through a
yeah,
voice change. But
yeah,
for you as a woman, was there ever, was there changes in your voice too as you're trying all these different, genres of music?
yeah. What I think is it helped a lot to be in a family with musicians. My parents, as I tell you, they sang together, but my aunts and uncles, and since they were into the church very much, they sang in choirs. So I could hear that in you, whether you want it or not, your ear gets educated as well. You know,
Mm,
when you hear the music, the way they're supposed to be um, sang or played. I believe also that it's natural. What there exists that fact that musicians are born with the talent of listening and understanding
yeah.
music, because not everybody that likes music or enjoys music can um, do music. You know what
Yes.
I mean?
What
Or
do you
can
mean? Yes, I
sing.
do know very much what you mean.
And it's like you know, I cannot do math, for instance. It's I'm horrible for math, but it's people that are naturally talented for numbers, right?
Mhm.
So or languages, learning languages. I think that is that everybody has a special talent. I honestly believe that I got that from my parents, the genes that they passed, the genes of musicality to me. But of course, my mother saw that on me, and out of my sisters, I'm the only one who's a professional musician, even though I was the last one to wanted to learn guitar. But then my mom saw that and she says, you know what, you can do classic ballet, because I was into ballet
Oh,
also when I was a very young. And my mom says, I think you need to go to the high school, the CEDART. CEDART are kind of private, semi-private high schools in Mexico City
hmm.
that focus their education not only academically but artistically. So to enter those classes, those schools, who were very, very, I would say they want everybody wanted to be there. They have long auditions, and you have to excel in every area, and in dancing and singing and playing an instrument. So you have to have it already. And I did my audition and I got in. It was a very, very, you know, happy time of my
Yeah.
life. And yeah, there in school I learned a lot of things, you know. Other arts, not only music, but I always knew that I'm gonna be a musician. I always knew.
That's so
So
wonderful. It's so nice that you knew early on that you could follow this passion that you have. I'm also curious, so you're from Mexico, Mexico, Mexico City in particular, and then you're
yeah.
here in the United States. Did you also, did you start singing in English then too, or is that something that when you came to the States you transitioned to? Like, when did that happen for you?
Well, let me tell you something. I thought I knew a little bit of English in Mexico, enough to sing the songs that we love. For instance, I love Whitney Houston
Yeah.
and other singers, right? So
Mhm.
in the bands that I played, we tried to be as more versatile as possible. So anything that happens in the United States goes to Mexico. People listen to the same music that is sounding here. Of course, maybe a year later, but still we have the material. And I sang English in English also, and when I was in bands in Mexico, but mostly in Spanish. What I did that the crossover, it was here in the United States when I moved to Denver. But before moving to
Oh,
Denver or Michigan, because I lived there too, I started living in Los Angeles, and this is when I joined an almost all female mariachi band in Los
mhm.
Angeles, Las Adelitas. um, I knew then that it was not enough to have a beautiful voice to join some, famous band
Mhm.
or good band, but you needed to play an instrument. So I was so thankful that I play guitar. So
Oh,
I joined the mariachi. I was in there for 1 year. This this mariachi was um, led by a male musician, el maestro Jose Salinas, and I learned a lot from him. La verdad, he taught us all, wonderful parts of the mariachi music, and so I learned a lot. But I knew that that was not what I wanted. I
yeah.
wanted to have my own all-female mariachi band from direction, no, not
Yeah.
just the musicians. So I created the the first all-female mariachi band in Sacramento, which it was Las Alondras,
Mhm.
and from there everything just went smooth and nice. I surrounded myself with very talented girls, many of them coming from Mariachi Las Adelitas. And then with Las Alondras, we play in the Hollywood Mariachi USA Festival. We
Wow.
played in the Pasadena Civic Center. We shared the stage with Stevie Wonder, Patti LaBelle, Boys to Men, you name it. I mean, it was
Wow.
wonderful. It was wonderful. So it is. I knew that even in the United States, I didn't necessarily to sing English music. We could still bring the mariachi music and
Yeah.
and let people to enjoy it, because the United States is a melting pot, right? So
Mhm.
everybody can enjoy this music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's so wonderful. So that first band, how long were you in that band, or how long did that one last?
I created that one in 1997 because I arrived in the United States on 1996,
Mhm.
and I stayed with 1 year with Las Adelitas. Then I formed Las Alondras in 1997 until 1999, and is when I left to Michigan because my ex-husband started medical school in the University of Michigan. So
Uh,
I had to leave everything. It was devastating for me. I'm not gonna lie. It was very sad because we were in the right path.
yeah.
So I had to leave my mariachi behind and move to Michigan, which it was very, very good because is where, for the lack of mariachis to play there,
Mhm.
I grabbed my guitar and I said, I have to work. I'm not going to stop
Yeah.
because there's no mariachis or other musicians to join. Seriously, Ann Arbor, I lived in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and it's
Mhm.
a lovely, darling town,
Yeah.
but there was no Latinos
Yeah.
playing anywhere. So I grabbed my guitar and I say, I am gonna do it. And then I self-taught what it was, how to play boleros and rancheras, no needing other instruments, just my guitar, and it was very, very helpful to me. So I started just singing and playing my guitar, something that I have never done before. And I started, in restaurants and parties, and they start hiring me. And it was wonderful. It was another step, in my career, learning how to play for myself. And that was wonderful. I don't need to depend on anybody to do it. And I still do it. I still do that.
Yeah. Oh, so
Hmm.
Dinorah, it sounds like that was, you went from this transition of having, leaving something that was so established, and it sounds like growing in, popularity and exposure. And then, but you were able to find confidence in yourself. And by you,
Yes.
having to take this trip, out to Michigan, which is, we know, in the middle of the United States, and there's a lot going on there. But so, for you, it sounds like that was actually a very important part of your career, right?
Yes.
You probably
Mhm.
would, I don't know, would you have ever thought to, just be a solo artist if you hadn't
Yes.
moved?
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Probably I would never do it because all my life in Mexico played with musicians, with a band. In Los Angeles, I played with a band. But
Yeah.
I was by myself, so it was those growing pains were very painful
Yeah.
because I was like, oh my God, now I am on my own, and I had to do it, and I did it, And
That's
once I got that,
fantastic.
oh my goodness, I was feeling, yeah, I built a repertory over, I would say 1,500 songs,
That is
and I
fantastic.
memorized them by the key, how to play them, what the lyrics are. And still they are here, and I build more and more and more with the years. But now I can afford the luxury to invite other musicians to join me. So I do it a solo, I have a duet, I have a trio, I have a quartet, I have a band, and I have a female mariachi band. So now I have a company that can do anything. I can, and I can play rock and roll, I can play blues, I can play jazz, I can in English and Greek and French. I have to, because California is a melting pot. We have
Mhm.
clients and people from all over the world. So I had to. I've been singing in Greece, I sang in Spain, I sang. So singing outside of your country, and it's wonderful. You go over there and start playing music. And
Yeah.
yes, I sing in Greek, and I also sing in Spanish, and they love it. It's wonderful.
Oh my
Music
God,
they
that
can
is
take you
wonderful.
everywhere.
You
Yes.
are, truly a global artist. And I love, like you said, you went solo, so you come back to California, you rebuild, and now you are not just an artist, which you've all, that stays with you all, but now you have an entire company, right? Is that
Yes.
something when you were growing up that you ever thought was possible, that not only will you get to have this love of music, but that you would be able to bring other people in with you so they could also follow their passion?
Let me tell you, Kathy, it was something I was not expecting, because I just thought that it would be enough just to call people and say, hey, you want to play with me? I have a gig. What about
Yeah.
if we make a duet? No, it's when I knew that, I started finding out that other musicians started inviting me to their bands, or they wanted to play with me. And I said, you know what? This should be a company. I need to have more control, and this needs to be more organized. So
Yeah.
it's where I created Dinorah Entertainment, because not only I am playing and performing music, but I am producing
Yeah.
festivals and producing shows and producing concerts. And for me, that is one of the biggest, most important parts of my career, that I am able to produce shows, not only my performance on stage. So I can invite other, I can hire other musicians in other bands, and I pay them, I hire them, and they come and perform. It's,
Yeah.
it's incredible how satisfying, how beautiful this part of my job is, and
Yeah.
is, I have so much. And now moving forward from the COVID pandemic, is I have so many plans and so many beautiful things happening to me. I got invited to the Kelly Clarkson show to be interviewed by her. You're gonna see the show on October 13 at 3
Wow.
p.m. Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
That is amazing, Leonora.
Yes,
I'm
and not
like,
only that, yes, yes, it's awesome. Not only that, but I am about to record my third album in Los Angeles. I'm gonna do a little bit of everything, because I'm gonna have my own songs. And one of my best friends in Los Angeles, Ismael Gallegos, who is a Grammy winner for his
yeah,
compositions. He writes for the Los Tigres del Norte, for Ana Barbara, for many big stars. And he and I are working together to bring this amazing album, my third album, to life. And we continue. We moving forward, because music is for everybody. It's the universal language that everybody understands. And I am so blessed, Kathy. I'm so incredibly fortunate to have not only my family, my friends, but the whole community backing me up. Here in Sacramento, people received me with open arms. And let me tell you, when I was moving from city to city, following my ex-husband's career,
yeah,
medicine, I ended up from Michigan again after 4 years of medical school.
yes,
All that I built there, I had to leave it again, because he had to do his residency in Denver, Colorado. There we go to Denver, Colorado. I start making my roots again and playing here and playing there. And then is when I start joining flamenco bands, and I started dancing in flamenco again, singing flamenco. And then another band with versatile music. I start getting being known in the city again. I play for the embassy, the Mexican embassy in Colorado and in Denver. So the University of, it was wonderful. I got so much going on. And after 4 years, he tells me again, we have to move.
Oh,
And so every time, Cathy, that I build something, I was taken away from that. You know what I mean?
yes.
And for me, what's frustrating was, and I think that had a lot to do with finally, when we arrived here in Sacramento, finally is when he got his. We decided that we could no longer stay together. We
Yeah.
have a very cordial relationship. We have 3 beautiful kids together, but I just needed to be myself. I just needed to take care of me. You know what I mean? Because I
Yeah.
knew that I could do it. So if I went from Mexico to Los Angeles to Michigan to Denver and then to Sacramento, I can do it over and over. I can
Yes.
start all over again. And it's exactly what I did. But now here in Sacramento, nobody's gonna take me away from here. I am so happy because I can move from here wherever I have to go to work, right?
Yes.
And this is exactly what I've been doing. Um, all these opportunities, all these incredible shows that I am invited. I am so incredibly happy and grateful for it, for all these opportunities.
Well,
The people here are awesome. Yes.
and Dinorah, I think it has a lot to do with your spirit. I'm sure people have told you this before, but you have this energy and light, and obviously grit, for lack of a better word, las ganas that are there, because it says a lot that every time you were somewhere else, you're like, I'm going out there and taking my guitar and I'm starting and I'm building, and that you were able to build in every place that you were. I mean, we're grateful that you're able to
Thank you.
plant here in Sacramento and move, forward. And we were taught, you mentioned that, you produce festivals and shows. And I want to give you a moment to say that one of the ones that you've produced for several years now, and we've been fortunate enough to come to see the show, is your mariachi festival, when you bring this
Yes.
talent from everywhere. And,
Yes.
that is something that you do. Want to tell us, like,
Mhm.
your plans for it in the coming year? I mean, even right now, as we're starting to slowly come out of COVID, here,
Mhm.
we're still a little behind, but, we were able to go and socially distance and watch the show that you just put on. But
Mhm.
I'm sure that, you have your, full on female mariachi band again. It continues to grow. What do you envision for this mariachi festival here in Sacramento?
I want this Mariachi Festival de Sacramento to be a must to go, a
Mhm.
must to go and see it. I want it to be part of the city and the history every year, to have the Mariachi Festival de Sacramento opening, to be the first festival of the year, to be the place where people from all Northern California can come and enjoy amazing talent that I bring every year. I've been so happy doing this since I started doing in 2014 in collaboration with other people. We changed routes, and then I started doing it with my friend Miguel Castillo, was my partner in this,
Yeah.
and he agreed to join me and help me with this, and we collaborate together, and it's incredible. Every year is better and better and better. This last year, which is this year, or this last festival, um, we brought Shaila Durcal, Mariachi Divas. We had Mariachi Nuevo Mexico, Mariachi Bonitas. We Mariachi Bonitas did our debut, because and it was so beautiful that not only I'm producing this festival, that I am able to perform at my
Yes.
festival. Yes, it's awesome. So we're having the next one in 2022 at the Credit Union, Safe Credit Union
Oh, wonderful.
Performing Arts. It's gonna be there on March 20th, 2022.
Oh,
So
wonderful.
you're gonna be, all of you gonna be invited. You're gonna see all this, the promos for this festival. We're very excited about it. I am also producing a show for Valentine's Day. It's gonna be a dinner show, and I'm inviting a beautiful, famous trio from Mexico for the dinner, and then an amazing band from San Francisco to play danzón. So I am sure that the senior citizens in this city, they're gonna feel so happy. They're gonna, for the first time, to have an event just for them. It's for everybody, really.
Yeah.
Everybody that like boleros and dancing, right?
Yeah.
But I am sure this, since this is a timeless kind of music, boleros and
Yeah.
danzón. So I am producing these shows, and I have so many other festivals in mind that I want to produce here for Sacramento. And this is what I love to do, Cathy. I live for the arts. I live for the music. In my family, my kids, my husband, and my friends and fans are a key. They play a key role in succeeding on this in these adventures for me. Yeah.
We're so fun, but so in your list here, you got to perform or be on stage with a lot of different famous people. So is there
Yes.
any one that stood out to you that you're like, wow, I was either super nervous to be there, or I really remember, something they said, or who was the one that had the most impact on you from getting to be, perform with them?
Let me tell you, it was wonderful when we opened for Carlos Santana as a mariachi in what was that? It's called the Orange Bowl
Uh-huh.
in Miami. Okay, and there was a game between Mexico and Brazil. I remember that very well. And then opening for Carlos Santana was incredible, but the cheering for Brazil, it was great. I mean, even though the mariachis played, we were back then in that show. We were also with Mariachi Vargas, and they were playing the trumpets and cheering up our selection, our Mexican selection. Oh no, those Brazilians are incredible. With the sambas and stuff, they totally overpower us. There's no way. But I love playing with Vargas. Many of those guys live in Mexico, and we knew each other from then. Also, Celia Cruz and the Pasadena Civic Center. I
Oh,
remember Celia, the queen of salsa, ¿verdad? La reina de la salsa. That lady was an adorable human being. Um, Absolutely humble. Jose, another humble person. El Buki. I can tell you, Sheila E. We play also in the Catalina Island with Sheila E. And she's adorable. She's a darling lady. I don't know. Stevie Wonder, super friendly. The guy hugging us, putting his arms around us. We got the chance to get close to them. What else? Boys to Men, very nice guys, flirty and stuff. This old
who
lady,
can help
the
it with you?
mariachi.
I'm sure.
But we have had a lot of great times, believe me,
Yeah.
a lot of great times when we travel, when we see these people. I recently, met some celebrities as well when we had our trip to Los Angeles. But anyways, you will see, especially when you tune us for the show that we were invited as. This is gonna be one experience of a lifetime with Kelly
That's
Clarkson. So um,
Let's remind
I
everyone when it is again, just so no one misses it. So you're going to be on the Kelly Clarkson show, and it's
yeah,
next week, which
yes,
Wednesday, October 13th,
correct,
right? Okay. So
correct.
I want to make sure
Okay,
everyone knows so we can
yes,
all be
October
watching it.
13th. We
I'm
will
very
be there. Yeah.
excited to see what you say. Can I ask, did you perform too? Or is
Yes,
it a
yes, yes.
surprise?
I believe that we're gonna of course we're gonna perform a little for her in the audience. So I am so excited. You have no idea. And well, there's nothing else, nothing that can make me feel sad now. And it's so comparing with the last years that I lost my dad to COVID, that I ended up with no jobs, that I was feeling so sad. It seems like this year is the total opposite. It's just like a completely flip for me. And all that started because we were here so sad, and oh my god, we cannot see our friends, but I cannot perform anywhere. I started performing for my neighbors here in front of my house, and that video went viral, Cathy. That video went viral, and then pretty soon I have here Marcus Allen filming also one of my performances for my neighbors, so we can keep a distance between us. And
Yeah.
now that I received calls that they saw me in Mexico, and they saw me in the BBC and in England, and they saw me. So it was in that moment I said, you know what, I am meant to be a performer. I cannot just stay in my house. And it's when I form Mariachi Bonitas. Even though I know I have my bands here and duets and solos and things
Yeah.
like that, I needed something else. And I haven't been in the mariachi music since I left Los Angeles. No, I'm not gonna lie. Here and there, playing mariachi music, but not exactly being a mariachi or belonging to any mariachi group. It is when decided I think it's time for Sacramento to have an all-female mariachi band,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna forming it. And is what I did. I went to the social media. I started calling girls and inviting women, girls that play instruments to contact me and see if they were interested. And sure enough, I formed Mariachi Bonitas. I wrote the song, the theme for the Mariachi Bonitas. I mean, I just wanted and want to for this mariachi to be special and unique. And I'm very, very happy because now, look, we got invited to go there with Kelly Clarkson and doing things that we never expected to do, and I am very, very, very happy. We have a lot of work now since March that we could start playing this year. And in October, it's going to be a year since I made that call to all those girls. So we're going to celebrate big time our first year of being Mariachi Bonitas, Cathy.
Oh my God. Dinorah, you're amazing. I'm so glad that we
Oh,
had this
thank
opportunity to
you.
have this conversation. You're completely right. Music is what really kind of held us together for a lot of us during COVID, especially during times when we couldn't be with others, and I call it pods. We kept to our pods to be safe, and I think you're inspiring too, and letting people know that you took a time that was so challenging for so many of us and brought joy to your neighbors, and it spread all across the world. And I think it's the power of music, but it's also the power of you. And I really want to leave us with that, because you just have, like, as I said, this energy, this light, this spirit that makes all of us want to, one, support you, and then two, just be able to enjoy what you bring in your music. So thank you for your gift that you share with everyone.
Thank you,
We
Cathy.
are so fortunate that you were able to come back to Sacramento and that we can claim you as our own. So we are going to be keeping track of all the dates that you shared, and
Thank you.
making sure that we are supporting it and promoting it and trying to get in there before they all sell out. Because I want to be clear for anyone that's watching you maybe for the first time, these sell out, so we need to make sure that we purchase our tickets early so that we can
Yes,
be there to enjoy it all. So
absolutely. Thank you,
thank you
Cathy.
so much for spending time with us. Thank you for sharing a little bit of your story with us.
Thank you.
And again, we're going to be I'm going to be here. Gonna actually block out my calendar right now so I'm not interrupted, so I can watch you on Kelly Clarkson next week. So with that,
Absolutely.
thank you so much again for joining us. Thank you for everyone that spent some time with us today. And look ahead. We'll make sure to share these dates with you. But we want to really make sure that Kelly Clarkson show is the highest rated show ever next week on October 13th. So please make sure to tune in to that show and watch it, so we can watch our very own Dinorah from Sacramento perform and tell a little bit of her story on a national set. Thank you for everything. We will see you in 2 weeks. We're going to take a hiatus next week, but we'll be back later this month with more Juntos with Cathy. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful afternoon.